Ladies and gentlemen, Tactical Vance here, and welcome to a news update. Now, we've got some really good news today. The 890 jump has now made it to the PTU, which is great news. I've got a small video in the background playing while we just go through the topics today, so you can have a look around. We did wait quite a while to get this. Now, they did say it was going to be the X patch. It's actually nearing 3.7, but overall, it was worth the wait. It is an absolute massive ship. I am 100% going to be doing a ship review on this. That will go into a lot more detail. There's some cool stuff with this one as well. But if you want to see the ship in action, I'm going to be streaming tonight from 10 p.m. GMT till late, and most likely going to be using the 890 jump. So what's next after this patch? Well, 3.7 is around the corner, quarter 3. This brings quite a new features and some gameplay as well. And we'll start from the top, starting on the character side. We have the Bounty Hunter armor, character customization V2, a revision to the glass visors and HUDs, which I'm looking forward to. For locations, we're going to get the rest stop space station interior variants. And if you remember previously, we got the procedurally generated space stations on the outside. They use the normal inside interior, and this will bring in basically, I suppose, both parts, the procedural generation from the outside and also the interior content as well. This will make it much better, obviously, in gameplay because we'll have a little bit more variety when we go in and visit other locations. Next up, we have the FPS combat weapon types. The AI will change their weapons and use different weapons in combat. Next, we have advanced gunship defensive maneuvers. This will be the implementation and balance of defensive maneuvers that the gunship pilots will perform on detecting and firing to prevent major damage to their vessels. There's a variety of NPC improvements to the bartender and the civilians walking around. FPS cover usage V1. This will give you the ability to take cover behind boxes and objects, which would be a great thing. This will really help when you go to reset your crime stat at selling. Once this is implemented, you should be able to take cover behind one of the boxes. On the gameplay side, expect to see improvements to how the hydrogen intakes regenerate the fuel. This will also take into account the environment density, the flight vector, and also the location in space. So basically what this means is the fuel regen will basically happen depending on the environment you're in. Next, we have the power system V2, expanding the existing power system to provide connecting gameplay in environments and vehicles, including connecting doors, lights, lift systems to the power, and dealing with impact of EMP. At the moment, when a EMP ship EMPs a large ship, what's supposed to happen is the blast radius is supposed to take out parts of the ship. Let's just say an EMP ship flew towards an Idris and it flew towards the, let's say, the side doors and then blasted its EMP. The power wouldn't necessarily go out for the whole ship. It would go around the door and around that area. So this would also give you the ability to target components on the ship and EMP them physical components, all being that you know where the components are internally. This is really going to make EMP gameplay quite skill-based, I should imagine, and also you would definitely need to know your ships you're attacking. Next up, we have PvP bounties. That's going to be an interesting one. The assumption will be once you get to a certain amount of crime stat, a mission will be created to collect a bounty on that particular player. Next, we have repair, refuel, restock from the kiosks. That's a great thing. We've all had the odd issue now and again when you land on a pad and you can't get it to repair. Having the ability to repair, refuel and rearm your ship before you take off is a welcome introduction. There will be bounty mission NPCs improvements. Next, we have physics interior. This will be the design and implementation of localized physical inventory system. This will be persistent. This should be on the lines of you'll be able to put jacket, clothes, stuff in your spawn point. For the ships and vehicles, first up is the Aegis Vanguard Harbinger. I know a lot of people are going to be looking forward to that. Next up, we have the Vanguard Sentinel. And then finally, I know lots and lots of people have been looking forward to this one, and that is the Cutlass Red rework. And finally, the Banu Defender. Now, this has been delayed a few times. I am glad they've done it in some ways because going back to when they originally created the Scythe was created and entered into the game. And at that point in time, if they could have gone back in time, I'd imagine that they would have probably spent more time on the Scythe. For the very reason is because of that first ship you create really defines how all the ships are going to be created after that point in time. So the reason for the delays on the Banu Defender is they are getting it as close as they possibly can to the point where the Banu Defender will be the concept and design artwork of the Banu ships. So it is really, really important, this ship, not only because it is the Banu Defender and it's a cool ship anyway, but secondly, this is the first Banu ship in-game, and this will also align the path on how all Banu ships look like in the future. So if you own other Banu ships, if you get the opportunity to have a look around the ship, it will give you a good idea of the concept and design of your ship later on down the line. On the weapons and items, we have the Apocalypse Arms missile launcher. Lots of people are looking forward to that. Now you can actually just hover somewhere. You can actually stand on the Constellation loading bay with 3-4 of your friends standing on it. And because obviously you're in atmosphere, you can walk around on it and shoot it from it. So you can use it for a shooting platform. Obviously not so easy when you're in physical space because there's no gravity on it and you clearly just fly off. But this is going to be quite interesting. If there's a ship down on the floor, you could just lower the cargo bay door down with 3 of your friends and then just absolutely annihilate them with the launchers. Next up, well, it's just as devastating. It's the Bearing GP33 grenade launcher. Me and grenades don't really get on well. I've a couple of times pressed the wrong button, and I know quite a few people in the org have done the same thing by mistake, accidentally dropped a grenade. I can see the grenade launcher being a nightmare. If they add in bounce and you can shoot it out of war and it bounces back, I can imagine there's going to be many team kills there. Once again, really looking forward to trying both of them ones out. Next in line is the Salvo Frag Pistol. There's no pictures of this, so we don't really know what it looks like. So that's going to be interesting. Maybe it's going to be something like what they had in World War I and World War II with the stick grenades, that sort of thing. But a handgun. And maybe a little bit smaller, I'm guessing. And finally on the list is the FL-33 laser cannon. Moving on to the core tech, Procedural Asteroids V2. I'm really pleased they're doing this, and I'll tell you why. The biggest challenge at the moment with the asteroids is physically seeing them when you're flying forward. If you're flying, let's say, half speed, the rocks just come out of nowhere. I also think the density are probably a little bit too dense. They could reduce down the density, but they need to work on the lighting to make the rocks more visually obvious so you don't just fly into them. I've done it many times. I'm sure most of you guys have. It's happened to you probably every now and again. So this is a welcome introduction, and also I should imagine this will increase the performance as well. Next in the list is large-scale shadows, and this will be shadows coming from physical ships, on planets, on stations. Next in line we have the planet-side ground fog tech. As much as this will look nice and pleasing on the eye, it does actually add a lot of gameplay. And the reason why is because when you're flying down to a planet in a ship, if you can clearly see the floor target, that also gives you the ability to do a bombing run, a strafing run. With the fog tech, that actually changes the dynamic of the gameplay because then the ships can't necessarily see to the floor and see where the players or the ships are parked. So what that would mean is the ships would have to fly into the fog to physically see what's on the floor. This is actually quite a cool thing to add into the game, I think, and it makes it a little bit funner if you're actually on the floor, so someone just doesn't strafe bomb you. There are obviously going to be performance optimization as well, improvements to the terrain shadows, and finally there will be some atmosphere tech improvements as well. I think they need to do that as well. There's a few locations where you fly in, out your front screen it looks really white, in third person it looks clear. That could be a combination of glass over the atmosphere, but like I said, there definitely needs some improvements there. So overall, 3.7 is looking super cool. I'm really looking forward to it. 3.7 is due in Q3, like I said earlier, so we're not far away at all. I'm really looking forward to it. Expect the 890 jump video soon. I'm going to stream this weekend and use it over the weekend just to give me a bit of a knowledge on it and fly it. And then I think once I come to do the review, I think I can give you some good feedback on my experience of using it for maybe about 10 hours, I would say. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed the video. Thanks for listening, and don't forget to subscribe. Bye now.